Alright, we're back at the table to do something different today. During my last race, in my granny gear, I was having skipping, where by the end of the race, actually I couldn't use the granny gear at all. I had to forego it for the one down from it. So after that, I took it to a shop to get a second opinion, and they confirmed my suspicion, which was that I had worn out the granny gear in my cassette. You can see the valleys are wider than they're supposed to be, and some of the teeth are even shaved off, probably from that skipping. But it's the end of the season. I'd like to upgrade to 1x12 probably next year, but I don't want to go into the winter with a brand new drivetrain. So I'd heard about people replacing the granny gear. What you should know about this is that all of these pieces are made of steel. A single piece of steel. You can actually, well, hopefully when we're done we'll see it. It's a single piece of steel though. And then this guy, which we're going to take off, is made of aluminum and pressed on. And if you know anything about aluminum, you know it is softer than steel, which is what your chain and this other parts are made out of. Went ahead and bought a wolf's tooth replacement ring. I got a shiny blue one because it was the same price, and why not? Blue is the highlight color I like to use on my bike. So today we're going to put this guy on and hopefully fix my skipping problems. So we'll see how well that goes. To do that, we need some tools. First off, we need to get the cassette off of the wheel. So first we take the wheel off the bike, and once we've got the wheel off the bike, we need the cassette removal tool. We'll need a chain whip to hold the cassette to do that, and then because we're removing it, we will need this tool to operate this driver. So we will do that first. After we're done with that, we will need a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and that'll be for removing the old ring, and then we'll need a pair of pliers for the new ring. And just to keep everything safe, we're going to wrap both of those tools in some kind of cloth tape. So we're going to remove this big plate, replace it with that one. To do so, we're going to slide the screwdriver in there and twist, because these little pins right here are what is holding it on. It's just a pressure fit. There's no screws or anything. But first I need to put duct tape on my screwdriver. So let's do that first. Alright, I have taped over the usual parts of the tools we're going to use that will contact the metal directly. We don't want to mess this guy up. And yeah, so hey, side note, you know what makes really good rags is startup t-shirts for companies that don't exist anymore. Alright, so I watched a couple videos on how to do this, and we're gonna give it a go. And here's how I'm thinking about it. If I mess this up, no loss. The cassette was already lost. And so the idea is not to pry like this, even though that looks like what I'm doing. I'm using that to just get it in there, but to twist like this. So hopefully this is going to work. So I'm actually going to break down here. Alright, my hands are slipping on the tool there. I'm going to throw on some old bike gloves that I don't like biking. Maybe they'll work good for this. Maybe. Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, we're starting to get give now. Man, guys, use gloves. There, you see that? Watch this one. Look right there at that pin. Yeah. This is coming up. Ta-da! Alright, so what you're left with is the cassette that looks like this. And I'm going to take this chance to go clean mine. So, one thing I noticed when mine showed up that I didn't really see in any of the videos I watched is that this is dished one way. So like, this is dished up that way. So if I flip it over, it's dished down that way now. Yeah, see that? In looking at how this one was on there, that was the back, and that is the concave side of this setup. So that's the back. So look at this one. They did their writing on the convex side, or the side that's up. I think we're just about ready to start pressing this on. For this, we're going to use our pliers. I am going to keep the protective tape on this time because we are pressing on two pieces of metal. This worked a lot better without the tape. The tape actually was slipping. If you use maybe a narrower one, also with my screwdriver, this harder plastic, I needed gloves to keep the traction. The key thing here is to look for this arrow on the new piece. So we're going to track that. I'm just going to flip it over and know that it's at my 12 o'clock position. And then I'm going to look at this guy, and you can actually see it. Narrow, wide, narrow. There's only one wide one. So basically just look down across them and spin it until you happen to notice wide tooth. Okay, so now we're here. I'm going to place my wide at 12 o'clock, which allows me to grab this guy. Go ahead and place, let me double check. Yep. And there it goes. So now it's not clicked on, it's just sort of resting on the very tips of those. So now what we're going to do is at each one of these points use our pliers to compress a little bit until probably three full rounds, I bet you. So this is my big one. That's what I'm going to use to track. So I'm going to start at and move it to the 3 o'clock position. According to me, it's 9 o'clock to you. And I'm going to go ahead and press a little bit, press a little bit, press a little bit. Alright guys, I think we did it. So, what I'm looking at there is that, hopefully the camera's getting this, is that the posts are not showing any gap. See, this piece has been pushed all the way up onto the post to the stop. And it's like that on all of them. So, once it's like that on all of them, I mean, this thing's on now. I can't get it off. The last thing to do is just double check that it works. So, there you go. SRAM XX1 cassette with a new 42 tooth chainring. Let's put it all back together. Alright, there's that. Let's see if it works. just like that. I'll take it out on a test ride, hopefully this weekend.